is, of course, transmitted by mosquitoes. I brought some here so you could experience this. We'll let those roam around the auditorium a little bit. There. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience.
In 1956, during their biological warfare testing, the U.S. military released an undisclosed number of Aedes aegypti mosquitoes into the residential areas of Savannah, Georgia, which many say were infected with the malaria virus. This event was called Operation Big Buzz.
But the U.S. military wanted to keep this research a secret, so they tested it in their own backyard.
One of the things that stands out for me about Operation Big Buzz is that the U.S. tested it on Americans.
Nasty little insects, and certainly, weaponizing them could be something that would be useful to the military.
It's kind of biological warfare before biological warfare.
The very same military is now testing mosquitoes that are genetically modified to deliver vaccinations. A great way to reach the vaccine hesitant, a project funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And let's not forget why the world's most powerful doctor does what he does.
Hearing you say that you're getting into this because there's more bang for your buck is not inspiring, Bill.
Well, that's too bad. It's not my goal to be inspiring. The world has limited resources.
So if you're not doing things to be inspiring, what are you doing things for?
Optimization.
Forward with a controversial plan to release genetically modified mosquitoes to help combat the population.
But some residents don't want the mutant mosquitoes and are demanding to know where they will be released. Local 10 Tatovella reports.
In some Key Largo neighborhoods, the signs are there. They do not want genetically modified mosquitoes.
Originally, I was engaged by the idea.
Mara Daly owns this hair salon. Aside from being part-time business owner, she's a mom and activist.
I do not feel comfortable having my child in the environment where up to 750 million mosquitoes will be released in our environment.
The genetically modified mosquito fight has been going on for 10 years now.
Your fellow citizens are concerned about this.
Many fellow citizens are concerned.
Barry Ray heads the Florida Keys Environmental Coalition, an organization that argues the project lacks independent scientific investigation.
You don't really know what the long-term outcomes could be or how to quantify those risks. And if you can't do that scientifically, then you don't know how to responsibly mitigate it or detect if something's going awry.
Is Houston about to use genetically modified mosquitoes to curb the Zika virus?
But Dr. Mustafa Debon with Harris County Public Health says the county is talking to a couple companies about bringing in genetically and bacterially modified mosquitoes to kill off their Zika-carrying brethren.
We're going to use another mosquito against another mosquito.
Dr. Debon says the county is working with Oxitec, which inserts a gene into a specific kind of male mosquito.
Malaria, a medical emergency. The CDC says the cases were hundreds of miles apart, 4 in Florida and 1 in Texas. No evidence to suggest they're related, but what they do have in common is no link to travel abroad. The last time malaria was transmitted locally in the U.S. was 2003. Tonight, the CDC says mosquito surveillance and control have been implemented. Malaria isn't contagious, but the parasite that causes it is transmitted by certain mosquitoes.
Scientists are calling a new vaccine against malaria potentially world-changing. A team at Oxford University has developed a vaccine that could reduce malaria deaths by 70% by the year 2030. Clinical trial results published in The Lancet show it could give up to 80% protection from the disease. Abby Kugadawson is on that story. She's in London for us today. Abby, tell us more about what the Oxford researchers have discovered.
Yeah, there is some great news today that this R21 vaccine could help eradicate malaria. It has shown to offer 80% protection, as you mentioned. That meets the World Health Organization's efficacy standard, and the findings come out of trials conducted in Burkina Faso. It included more than 400 children under the age of 2, and the results show that 3 initial doses with a single booster shot given a year later provides that 80% protection. They did not note any serious side effects.
It's just after sunrise in Fresno, California, and this van circling a residential neighborhood is making a rather unusual delivery. It's hard to see with the naked eye, but flying out of this tube are thousands of mosquitoes, new additions to the community. Linus Upson is running this experiment for Verily, the life sciences corporate cousin of tech powerhouse Google. In total, they're releasing 1 million mosquitoes a week for 20 weeks this summer.
So you are going to release 20 million mosquitoes in the Fresno area. 20 million mosquitoes.
New additions to the community.
20 million mosquitoes in the Fresno area. Are neighbors not concerned about that?
Once people understand if we're successful, we're going to reduce the population, people are usually thrilled.
Hi, I'm Scott O'Neill here in Medellin, Colombia today, and I'm at the world's biggest mosquito factory for the World Mosquito Program. We're making in here 30 million mosquitoes a week. Come have a look. We're doing it for a very serious reason. Cities like Medellin have suffered from diseases like dengue, Zika, chikungunya for decades, but not anymore. We've been able to bring the solution of Wolbachia mosquitoes to this city. When this bacteria called Wolbachia gets introduced into the mosquito, it stops their ability to transmit dengue. We release mosquitoes that have Wolbachia. Now they go and mate, and Wolbachia gets passed into the wild mosquito population. If we're going to control these diseases in all the tropical cities of the world, it's going to require a lot of mosquitoes. The mosquito life cycle starts with the egg, and in this room, we've got a lot of eggs. Each one of these strips, these tiny black dots, are up to 10,000 mosquito eggs. Across all of these strips, about 1.5 million dried eggs waiting to hatch. In this tray, we've got the newly hatched eggs. They're little larvae, so small you can hardly see them. They're going to sit in here for a few days and eat and get bigger until they look like these ones over here. They're starting to turn into pupae. We're wanting to do the next step of sorting the males from the females. We want to do that so we can manipulate the sex ratio in the cages to be more female than male. The bottom ones along here are the boys, and the ones at the top are the girls. They're bigger. From here, they're going into the adult cages. We have adults that we continuously grow in what we call our brood stock. And then over here, we have the mass-produced mosquitoes getting ready to give us the eggs to go out directly into the field. It's crazy how they sound. You might wonder, what do we feed all these mosquitoes here? Well, I can tell you, we've got the good stuff in here. On the top shelf, literally, we've got the blood. They love it. Once the mosquitoes are grown, they're ready to go out into the field.
Our King Jesus didn't bring us this far to abandon us now. You were called, you were chosen. You were knit together in your mother's wombs, fearfully and wonderfully made. We are called to serve. King Jesus bless you all.